Hi, it's Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, we've got a new video here to showing a new event from Wargaming. It's for the St. Patrick's Day, which starts on the 16th of March, which is the day we're releasing this, and it runs to the 23rd, and it's got some special rewards in the game. And let's have a quick look at it. We're not going to go through this in great detail. There's something I want to show you. Some hidden treasures, which you just log in and play a treasure hunt game and give you a chance to get a special bonus code. So that will give you some tokens that can get you some days of premium account, training guide, and a 2D style. So the battle missions are where you earn the tokens, and there's a list here of what you can get, which are basically emblems, 3D style for the FE 4202 if you happen to have that, and 2D style that you can apply to any tank. And most importantly, there's some loot boxes that will be released on the 16th at 0630 server time, which will have a chance to get any of these tanks here, but what we're going to have a look at is this thing, the long-awaited Japanese TD, the Type 5 Kari, which is a Tier 8 Japanese TD, which will be the precursor to Japanese TDs coming in. Another thing that's special to this particular thing is a 3D skin for the SU 130 PM, and called the Forest Spirit. So if you happen to have that tank, that'll be worth getting. So let's have a quick look at that. And then there's res 2D styles, etc. But you can also get a chance to get these tanks and things like premium account and extra things. So they'll be available in the premium shop. But what we're going to look at is the Kari. So it's a quick look at the actual tank, but what we're going to do is jump into the game and show you the tank. I can't show you gameplay at this point, but have a look at the characteristics in a little bit of detail. Alright, so the the Forest Spirit is not just the 3D skin, it's the SU 130 PM with that skin on it, so it's a correction there. Alright, so here we go, looking at the new Tier 8 Premium Japanese TD, the Kari. It looks fairly boxy, but it's sort of in the height of it's just a bit lower than the German TDs, the Ferdinand and the Jagdpanther, but a bit taller, but not a whole lot than the CC67 and the WZ111 fake tank. So it's not a low profile, but it's also not that terribly high. Alright, so let's have a look at some characteristics here. We've got 500 average damage from the shells with 252 average pen for the standard round, and that goes up to 298 for the premium round. 12.75 seconds for the gun loading without any rammer. We've got 100% crew in here to give you these stats, but nothing special, no extra skills. Minus 7 degrees of gun depression, which is pretty average, but yeah, not completely useless. And you've got 12 degrees of gun traverse on either side, which is relatively narrow, but again, workable. Nice aiming time 1.92, and dispersion without any extra benefits of 0.33, so it looks like we'll be able to get that down to around about 0.30, I would think, with all the benefits. And out of the box, 2353 DPM, which is quite reasonable. So we've got 1250 hit points and 220 maximum armor on the front, with 50 on the sides and the rear. And let's have a quick look at the actual armor layout. So we'll just jump into tanks.gg. Alright. Okay, so here we've got the armor on the front. So there's your frontal armor, 220 millimeters effective, but it's an absolute slab front there. And then you've got the armor on the slope is 115, but with the angle gets you around 183 to 188. then you've got low front plate, easily printable there, 93 millimeters, so that's 70 millimeters thickness, and the sides are going to be printable, of course. 15 millimeters of armor, they're very slightly sloped, so no big deal, no spaced armoring like that. And you've got these sides here which are also pinnable, so it's going to be easily pinnable once you get close to it. And I think Tier 8's firing premium will probably go through the front of that without too much problem, given how flat it is. So I think the owners of this are going to have to wiggle a bit if they get into getting observed and getting into trouble. And they don't want to wiggle too much, so it's more just about trying to deflect the shells that are coming in. Of course, you've got 42 millimeters on the roof, which is good because that won't get overmatched. You have to be pretty substantial gun over around 128 millimeters to get over that, and nothing special on the rear. So, now, unfortunately, we can't show you the gameplay at this point. We're still under embargo as far as that goes, but we'll have that in the next day or so in conjunction with the release of the vehicle in the premium shop. But let's have a look at mobility. So we've got 45 tons, which is pretty reasonable, 750 horsepower, and that gives us a specific power of 16.66. So not, again, not fantastic, but not completely useless. It choose 40 kilometers per hour top speed with 18 in reverse, which is pretty decent. So reversing out of a spot, it's going to be not too bad. And you've got a hull traverse speed there of 39 degrees per second, which is also quite reasonable. So it's not going to be completely sluggish. It's going to be sort of largish box, case-mate TD sort of range. Then we've got concealment standard 14. We'll have to see how that works when we camo it up, but that's a good starting point. And then what's the view range? That's the big thing here. So 380 view range, reasonable for Tier 8, but not completely over the top. So I think it's not going to be overpowered. You can be able to work this up into a reasonable TD in terms of DPM with that base of 2300. So getting cruise skills into it and gun rammer and food, etc. We'll get that close to 3000, which is going to be pretty excellent. And using that pen, I think in Tier 8 battles it's going to be fine with the standard ammunition, but it's going to take the premium rounds to keep you in the game in the higher tier matches. Alright, so that's a quick introduction to it. As I mentioned, it's going to be available in loot boxes initially in the event that's starting for St. Patrick's Day, so look out for that in the premium shop, the loot boxes, and best of luck with getting it. Hope to have you some gameplay of this particular vehicle as the event starts, and we'll release that the day after this one, I would hope. Anyway, hope this is of interest to you, and if it is, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing that. We'll have more great content to follow. Thanks very much for watching.